Hi, how's everyone doing? Everyone's good? We have food, yay. This took months to get, it's finally here, so be happy, please. The time is 7:08, I'll go ahead and call us to order. It is February 21st, 2023. Next slide, please. If anyone wishes to speak in open forum, please go ahead and register. Open forum is right there. I will give everyone the opportunity to do that briefly. Okay, next one, please. Okay, land acknowledgement. Representative Bustilis will give the land acknowledgement.
We would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on Indigenous land. Moreover, we would like to acknowledge and pay respects to Carrizo, Comecrudo, Guatlitan, Calo, Pancalo, Comanche, Lipan, Apatne, Alabama, California, Kickapoo, Pequot Pueblo, and all the American Indian and Indigenous people and communities who have been or have become a part of these lands and territories in Texas, here from Carolina. We remember as well the struggles and legacies of Chicano, Black, Asian, and other peoples who have created the space within the context of ongoing disposition and cultural violence.
All right, thank you so much. This is the attendance code. Please go ahead and fill it out.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to say your order.
That's trademark.
Yeah, well, I will defer you to speak to our legal affairs, whoever that is. Once you filled out the roll call, please feel free to help yourself to pizza. It is right here, please. Y'all don't. I would prefer Rex to go first and then y'all can, but after that. Yeah. Kidding. Please get three first, and then if there's more, help yourself. But three first.
Three? That's no, I mean saying three.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Only take three.
Yeah. Please make sure to fill out your attendance code. We have 39 reps. Don't worry about it. 39 times.
Nothing else.
Thank you. If you would like to help yourself, please help yourself to food. That's for the representative. It's for everyone. You have too much. Too much. Yeah, please.
I'm so excited.
Oh wait, Diego doesn't even have quorum, right?
No, not anyone.
Okay, I can.
Anyone.
Okay, science. We gotta say license for stuff from before.
Yeah, I will.
Is that on? Is that on?
Always assume that it is on, Brian. It's not.
Can you sign me up for open forum?
Oh,
Did I
you
miss
can't
it?
put that?
Yeah, it didn't work on my phone. I don't know
I
why.
know.
Thank you.
Stare at me intensely. Are we at 20?
Evening.
Oh, I agree.
Suit.
Thank you.
That's good.
For you? I hope. This one actually. There are more than 26 people combined on this thing and on this one. I'll reiterate that.
There's gonna be cheese. All right, with no escape.
Which one are they?
How's it going?
Good at yourself?
Good to see you, man. You all right?
Yes. Tired.
You telling me, it's only.
No, that's right. Wait, Kevin, how many times is something?
56. 2:30.
Did you really decide to order the most sheet of flour? Kevin really.
Who's on? It's more than after. Yeah, it's 10 pepperoni, 15 tea. If you've not filled out the if you've not filled out the attendance form, please go ahead and do so. Right, yes, if you're on Zoom as well, please fill out the attendance form.
Can I only do open forum once you have quorum?
Oh, no, you can.
Yeah, just so I can get out of here.
What number are we at?
We gotta start.
Hey, Brian. Oh, I got mine like 2 months ago. Or a month ago. Like at the start. I already hit like 3 boxes in like 3 minutes. There was like a little girl that pulled up to my dorm and like sat there. Yeah.
Oh, this one.
If you can.
So we will do a quorum call. The clerk will call a roll.
Okay, Billy. Politician. Jara. Bhattacharya. Rama. Sanjay. Vasan.
On Zoom.
Romanos. That's
On Zoom.
Wait, start.
On Zoom.
Oh, okay, sorry. Uh, Daniel. Einstein,
On Zoom.
Bierman,
Einstein's on Zoom.
Bierman. Edichu,
Who?
Greenberg. Greenwald. Ahmed.
Here.
Hayes,
Here.
Hernandez. Coaching. Video. Jimbar. I'm sorry, Sandhu. Kumar. Luhan. Maseda. McGill. Miyahara. Moore. Mosley. Nguyen. Ozuna. Kenya. Rogers. Ryan. Assembly. Hassan. Bergman. Villanueva. Villanueva. Walt.
Here.
Weiss. Whittington.
Oh, here.
Yeah, we have a quorum. Okay, the chair recommends a motion to approve the February 7th and February 14th minutes. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. We have a guest speaker today. Councilmember Ryan Alter will be here to speak to us about housing issues. I'm thankful so much for you taking time to come speak with us. Please give him your undivided time and attention.
Yes.
How are y'all doing? Excellent. Well, I hope to not take up all my 15 minutes. I know y'all have a lot going on. I was actually an engineering representative back in my day, so this is good to be back. I really am here just to let y'all know about my very first council item that I have brought. It's going to be on the agenda for Thursday, and it deals with student housing, particularly trying to create more affordable housing for students. I'm sure none of y'all think it is too cheap to live in and around university. It was that way, I know, when I was here not that long ago. And so what I think is really important is, you know, Austin has incredible challenges when it comes to housing affordability. We are going to be tackling it from every angle we can. But while we are having those conversations, I'm bringing this first because I think it's really important that we remember that not everybody who is facing this challenge is facing it from the same viewpoint. Right? Students have a very different level of need and challenge than maybe a teacher or a nurse or someone else. And so I want to make sure that my colleagues are remembering that there is a unique need when it comes to students, and it's not just here at UT, it's Houston Tillotson, it's ACC, it's Ed. And so what I am hoping to accomplish is first and foremost to get university official students together this year and just look at what is the actual need. You know, do we need 5,000 units, 10,000 units? I'm not sure. No one knows. There has never been a comprehensive needs assessment of what are the housing needs for our students both in and around our campuses. So that's the first thing. We have to measure it if we want to actually tackle that challenge. And then next is coming up with a goal that we put in our strategic housing blueprint. So this blueprint is our guiding document on what we want to do in terms of housing affordability. And by putting in a specific metric and a specific goal for students, when future policies are being crafted and when we're measuring our progress, we are going to be pointing toward that metric. And there is no subgroup yet, so students will be the first one. And so it is going to guide policy in a way that makes sure that when, you know, our housing department essentially knows that they're being graded on their performance on this blueprint, and so they need to meet the goals that we're setting for students for affordable housing. So that is just one piece, though. Another piece is to see if we can't work with colleges and universities to build either more housing on campus or around campus, and that could be partnerships. Maybe the college or university has some land, and we can help develop that land through some of our bond dollars. We're connecting them with the right developer, or just figuring out if we need some kind of land use change to make it so that that piece of property can now be a good place for housing. And that kind of leads to the last piece of this, and that is to look at something that is unique here to the University of Texas, and that is what is known as UNO, or the University Neighborhood Overlay, basically West Campus. And so that was something that was done a little over a decade ago, maybe I think a little more than a decade ago. Definitely. It's just updated in 2014. But it gave additional height in exchange for a certain level of affordability and for other benefits. Another unique thing to UNO that you don't see anywhere else in the city is it instead measured based on bedroom, not based on unit. Once again, because students have a different need, a different level, a different style of living, right? You might go rent a room. You don't necessarily rent the whole unit. That's not very common beyond a university setting. And so these are things that we need to be thinking about. But how has that experience informed us, and what can it teach us to do maybe around Highland Mall for ACC or St. Ed or Houston Tillotson, or have we achieved the right level of affordability, or do we still have a huge need, and so maybe we need to have a higher level, a higher percentage of those units be affordable, or I should say those bedrooms be affordable. These are just things that we need to be thinking about as a city. And so that is what is coming on Thursday, and hopefully as this moves forward and it passes and starts actually becoming policy and hopefully leading to actual housing for y'all, I encourage you to be involved and help us get to a point where we are putting you and other students in a position to be successful, right? You're here to learn and ultimately go on and do great things, but you can't do that if you don't have a place to live. And so that is what I want to achieve, so that you can focus on what is important here and not have to worry about, can I afford to live near campus, or have to, spend a bunch of my time traveling from somewhere far away. That's not the experience we should be creating for students here in Austin. So that's it. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions on this, that, or anything else, and return my time to you if there are none.
Well, thank you so much. We'll now move into questions. Are there any questions for the council member? Yes, Representative Rogers.
If I just ask, I think the battery's down. So.
Can someone do a microphone for people on Zoom?
Representative Rogers, CNS. Thank you so much for coming today. One of the things that has piqued my curiosity is about the kind of trade-off between developing land for housing and the environmental costs that come with that. You know, in terms of like trash, just losing green space. And since Austin sits on a really nice watershed, I was just wondering what kind of debates does that look like in maybe with your staff or with those council members in terms of those trade-offs?
Yeah, it's a great question. You have to look holistically at the challenge because while developing, let's say, a vacant piece of property downtown will have certain environmental impacts, bare minimum, what was potentially a pervious, grass area is now impervious, and so you have water runoff and issues with that. You also have to consider the fact that if we can build, let's say, one of your 10-story dorm apartments that you see over in West Campus, let's just say that's 500 people. Well, if those 500 people had to commute from the edges of town or somewhere further away, that is now additional emissions that they are, every single time they come in and out. So that affects air quality. When you look at the space that you have to take up to create smaller, less dense housing, once again, away from the city center, now we're actually having more impervious cover. And so we're having more effect on the watershed. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't consider what is the immediate impact, but you have to look globally at the challenge. And so part of it, for areas, and I represent District 5, which starts at Silver Park and runs through South Central Austin over the Edwards Aquifer and run, a lot of the Barton Creek watershed, Williamson Creek watershed. So we certainly have to consider ways that we can improve our environmental footprint, but there are some great things happening in terms of water recapture and reuse, using solar to the greatest extent possible, and just other pieces to kind of offset that. But ultimately, the more people we can get so that they're walking instead of driving a car, we are having a great environmental impact in that regard.
Thank you so much. Representative Hayes.
Hi there, Rep. Hayes, architect. Do you think that as Austin grows into a truly global city, that it can continue to support the vast swaths of single-family housing in districts like 5 and District 1, like North of us?
I think there will always be single-family neighborhoods in the city. I don't think you'll ever see Austin, become like a New York City where there's only multifamily housing. However, I do think what you'll see is instead of huge, 3,000 square foot homes, more 3-4plex style on that same footprint where we're able to allow more families and more individuals to live here in the city. So what I think you'll probably see is a greater transition to more ADUs, more multi-unit, but still in that kind of single unit feel, right? So you could have a duplex or a 2-family home that you're now having multiple units on a piece of property or 3 units on the property, but that are separated and kind of feel still like that single family aspect. So I just think you'll see greater number of units within the same, but still with some single family characteristics.
Representative Ozuna.
I was wondering, thank you again for coming to speak with us, but is there like any way like we as a government can help you like achieve this or like anything we need to help?
Absolutely. So I feel pretty good about this passing, so I don't need y'all to all show up and rally my colleagues. They're on board too. But as we take the next steps, we are going to be working with university officials, but we also want to work with students and understand what are your needs. You know, because part of this conversation, we so immediately think about in and immediately adjacent to the university, but we also have to consider the fact that now Project Connect and the Orange Line is gonna run right through Waterloo. And so now we could potentially build student housing further away that is connected to the Orange Line, that is, still would take you 5, maybe 10 minutes to get on campus, same as if you were to walk, 10 or 15 blocks. So we want to hear your thoughts on if we're kind of expanding the traditional way of thinking about things and how you feel about various ideas and what you do think is an appropriate level when it comes to affordability. You know, if we say $900 a month, who is that affordable for? And so your perspective is very important. So I will have at least at minimum have my staff reach out and figure out, let y'all know what are the next steps to get involved if you want to be part of that conversation.
I noticed the time's expired. Is there any other questions? Does anyone want to make a motion? Representative Brown,
Representative Brownlow, UI, I motion to extend the Q&A period or the conversation period by 5 minutes. By unanimous.
is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none? Representative Brownlow.
How can, let me ask you this. What tools does the city council have to make the remarkable development that we see in West Campus, right? We see 20-story, and like you said, the height and raise is wonderful, and we've got these huge footprints, and they've been thousands of students. What tools does the city council have to ensure that at least a portion of the, wonderful, multi-unit apartment complexes are actually affordable? Because it's frustrating as a student to see multi-million-dollar apartment complexes going up, and then rent being in the realm of $1,200, $1,400, sometimes even $1,700 or $1,800.
Yeah.
So what tools does the city council have to maybe balance that out?
Right, so that program is what we call a density bonus, which essentially we're saying you can go above your base entitlement. In exchange, you need to give us something in return, and that something is affordability. It has typically been at a certain time period, so your older developments are probably timed out at this point, that affordable period has expired. But you look at West Campus, there's nothing old anymore. It's cranes and new builds left and right. And so as I touched on before, we need to look at that experience and see, have we calibrated it right? Are we getting enough affordability out of that to allow for enough students to live there? It's a tough balance, because if we go too far on the affordability side, it will be economically infeasible for them to build it, and then there'll be no housing. But that's not to say that we can't push the envelope a little harder, a little further, and maybe make that multi-million-dollar margin just a little bit less, where they're still making a healthy profit, but y'all are benefiting. So I think that's part of the data we need to look at, or how many of these have been affordable, and how does that compare to the actual need out there? Because intuitively, I think you're probably right. There's not enough.
Are there any other questions? Representative Hayes.
Hello, Brooke Hayes, architecture. Forgive me for this, it's a little bit of my niche architecture interest. A few years ago, Austin allowed for the construction of the block, 3-story. Or nothing for that, it's like multi-family buildings that just have one staircase, but then have two.
Right.
And so those are great because they let you build multi-family housing on much smaller lots. They let you have apartments that aren't just like two boxes, like families. Has there been any movement on the city council or in your office to either increase that height limit or advocate for apartments that family multiple bedrooms, something?
Absolutely. So, yes, kind of. Height is a very controversial topic. I'm sure you are well aware. You start talking about building height, people get very sensitive very quickly. I believe we do need additional additional height, and I think that one of the conversations we are having, that we're gonna continue to have, is, there's a lot of focus on the corridors, and we had this whole discussion about what the proper compatibility is, how high you can build along those corridors, but what was left out of that discussion was the use underneath that height. And so that gets exactly to your point. If we're saying you can build to 60 feet, what is it that we're building in that 60 feet? Making sure that we can maximize that height allowed. And so what you touched on is something that is both within the code itself, but also really what people don't understand is there's a whole set of rules that, as explained to me, you got our code, which is about 3 inches long on a bookshelf, and you got the building criteria manual, which is about 18 inches on the bookshelf. This is where the rules are and the restrictions are. And so my office is working on looking at those restrictions and figuring out just what is too old, it doesn't really apply, what is in conflict with each other, but what is needlessly limiting housing for people here in Austin. And how can we make that less burdensome so that we can build exactly what you're talking about? Because those are just rules. That's not within code that limits it. And so that is something that we need to, there's not supposed to be policy there, but yet it's affecting what a building looks like. And so that is something we are trying to work on to figure out how we can do more innovative designs like that. Because I saw a really cool mock-up of it. It's a great idea.
Are there any other questions? Yeah, well, actually, I noticed the time.
6 seconds, so.
Yeah, do you make a motion?
Yeah. Representative Rogers, CNS, I'll make a motion to extend the
By how long?
5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, there's a motion to extend by 5 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, approved. Go ahead, Representative Rogers.
Representative Rogers, CNS, I really like that idea to get rid of those old rules. That's just very cool. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
One thing that I think is a little bit under attention is the law enforcement aspect. Once these density programs are created, how does the city go about ensuring that those units actually go to people who meet the income requirements? Like when I was signing for apartments in West Campus, and they're like, oh, we only have smart units left. Do you need it? And I said, no, I don't need the requirements. And they said, it's okay, just sign this. And I was like, really? The landlord's telling me to lie to get that unit for someone who's clearly supposed to be able to meet these income requirements. And so I was just wondering, like, what is the city's plan kind of to tackle that?
That's a great question, and it's not, you're not the first to bring it up. There was an article written recently about this challenge because who is policing our affordability regime is very difficult because it depends on the type of project. Housing projects that are built with tax credits, there's a little more oversight, as you might imagine, because the rules surrounding that are pretty strict. And so if you're found cheating, you're going to lose access to a huge pool of money that you don't want to lose access to. But for those who are operating their density bonus programs, where they're just getting extra entitlement and they say that they're going to offer a certain amount of affordability, that is something that we have been struggling with in terms of enforcement. So I wish I had the great answer for you on how we're going to tackle it. If you have a great idea, let me know. But it's such a challenge when our staff is not even able to keep up with just what we're trying to do as a city to function in terms of code updates and whatnot, let alone go out and enforce these things. But we need that enforcement. So I sadly don't have a good answer on that, but it is something that we've got to do better on it to figure out.
Are there any other questions? Representative Holloway.
What like tools does the city of Austin have to not only encourage but facilitate UT to develop housing not only on like the traditional 40 acres but also say North Austin, JJ Pickle area?
Yeah. Well, UT is special in that it has a bunch of land. So we as a city are able to dictate what is allowed to happen on that land. We can't make them do it, But if we say this land that you own can only be used for residential purpose, then that's what they've gotta do. So that is our biggest hammer in the toolbox. But really, the best way is to have conversations with administration. I've already talked with people here who they really are excited about this and want to be part of the solution. And, you know, UT also has quite a healthy endowment. And so their access to capital and ability to come in and be innovative and creative, and have the capital to back it up is something that I know, they're looking to leverage. And so it's just really keep pounding the drum, right? Keep making sure that they are paying attention to this issue, and that's what we're gonna try to do to make sure that they understand, and they do. I don't wanna, say that administration is tone deaf to it. They know that this is a challenge, so they have come to us and said, how can we help be part of the solution?
Are there any other questions? All righty, thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Councilmember Alton, do you want to get a photo?
Oh, please.
We're gonna stand at ease briefly, just to take a quick photo, and then we'll resume. How do we do this?
What are we doing?
Huh? Yeah, I'm
Okay. You're in charge, take command.
Where's my engineering school rep?
I think, oh.
There? There we go. Hiding in his A&M shirt.
We can all stand like right there. Not this way. This way. Facing this way.
Facing you?
Yeah. Okay. But like a little bit closer. So we all get closer.
Thank you.
Oh. Is exactly what it's like?
This road's in all of our.
Yeah.
And what did you? Yeah.
It's great.
Okay. If everyone can go to the bathroom. Okay, I need to go in between here, like here, so we all need to move here, and then here, so you all need to get closer. Like, closer. That. Isabel, can you? Yes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we're. Oh, okay.
We have like 12 boxes right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Where the fuck you?
Okay, if anyone wants to get, if anyone wants. If anyone wants to get pizza, please help yourself. We can do second time. Please help yourself. We need to get rid of this, so please help yourself. Staff, please help yourself. Melinda, do you want more pizza? No?
I'm gonna drop a box off.
Then, I don't know. There might be. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please help yourself. If we get pizza again next time, notice like cut it in half. What would hurt? What do you use? Okay. All right, let's go and get started. We're gonna go and continue. We're gonna go and continue, but if you need to, like, if you want to get more, please feel free to help yourself. But let's just move on because I don't want to hold people any longer. Next slide. Okay. All right, next is open forum. I don't know why we're having microphone issues today. We have a few people who have responded. My glasses. Okay, first up is Maliha Rizvi to talk about Texas on Pancake Night. Yeah, not one.
Oh, okay. Hello?
Is it working? Oh,
Go for it.
whatever.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Malika. I'm not a part of SG. I'm a part of Texas On. We are a nonprofit where we fundraise for Delta Incredible Center, and student government has actually supported us a lot in the past. Y'all's appropriation are the reason we can put on this event called Pancake Night. It's an event that goes on from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's upcoming Thursday, February 23rd. It's at Delta Tau Delta, which is pretty close by. All of y'all should come by if you can afford today. You can meet for there. What's better than pizza? Pancakes. $5, unlimited pancakes, all peanut pecking. I'd love to see y'all there and using my name. Those are really helpful. And you guys are awesome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, now into Q&A. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Next up is Representative Turgeman.
What am I doing?
Yeah, let's go.
I have 20 questions. So say that.
Okay.
Hi guys, so we just came up here to talk about an initiative that we're gonna be launching soon. The Isabel Leland, have been in
Security Action Team.
all been kind of working on this initiative to get rides for students to HEB on Saturday. It's so close to launching. And we need your help to recruit student drivers for the weekend.
Yeah, this initiative has been going in the work for a year and a half, and it's finally launched, and it's pending being posted on Handshake. But we met with Department of Transportation and DOS advisor Marcus yesterday about it, and she said that if there are people internally who are interested and would like to take part in this initiative, that they can. So I'm just gonna give a little like description of what the position is. So the initiative using SureWalk vehicles to pick up students and take them to HEB and then come back. This would run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. And Yes, it would require having a driver's license, background check, doing like a driver training through UT. But it is a paid position, I believe it's $10 or $11. So if you are already a student employee and you are passionate about helping advance food access on campus, as soon as the posting is released, we will be doing a post on social media about it, and we encourage and LSO, but in general, anyone who's looking for them to take part.
So if you are a student employee or, you know someone who are looking to launch multiple things, takes time to hire, so that would be really helpful.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any questions? Representative Bailey.
Rep. Bailey, Liberal Arts, I just have a question for clarification. You are looking for student employees who are already currently working for the university to like make the process faster for hiring them for this?
Yeah, because part of what takes long, like in the bureaucracy of UT, is like background checks and trainings and stuff. But if you're a student employee already and you've already gone through that, and since this initiative has been a 1.5 years in the making, we really want it to happen under our administration so that it can continue to happen for years to come.
So current student employees won't go through an additional background check, like they can automatically apply for this without going through the additional.
Yeah, there will be like a driver training, but the background check part, by having that can save like weeks, so.
Representative Basilis.
Representative UI, so bouncing off of that question, because I know like the university has an indicting on their own HR system. But it still can be transferable regardless of that.
Yeah, I was an employee, everything goes through Workday, no matter what department you're in. So the background check and your I-9 forms are all transferable, it would be just, doing the driving checking, that's.
Representative Ozuna.
So I was a university employee last semester. Do I need to like redo anything? If because I'm no longer employed by university, but I need to like go through it if I want to sign up.
I'm not 100% on that, but if you are interested in the position, as soon as it's posted, we're gonna come in Slack, we're gonna do social media, outreach, all that.
Yeah, I think you might need to do your I-9 form again, but not your background, but yeah, don't forget.
Representative Bailey.
Sorry, last question. Have you considered or have you already advertised it in like university employee spaces, like through the housing and family employees and things like that?
Yeah, part of what Marcus is currently doing, as we're in the process of posting the job, is again, trying to see how we can expedite onboarding. So he's already running this position through currently employed students.
We're waiting for it to be officially posted on Handshake. We're just waiting on a couple more weeks from the student, and then we'll advertise it last week. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Next up is Felipe Roja with E&E.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Felipe. Hopefully by now you know who I am. I'm here every week to talk about what we got going on in E&E. Not too much this week. We are having Dance Sensation right down the hall in the WCB auditorium. We have a bunch of cool Asian dance groups performing. It ends at 9, so if you leave here and it's still going on, if you want to check it out, they also have your logo over there. But other than that, on Thursday, we have the Texas Union Film Festival, something that our film committee puts on. It's, I think, 16 student films being shown in the big screen, with 3 judges from the Austin film community judging them, and top 3 prizes are South by Southwest Film Badge, and Austin Film Festival Film Badge, and a Fantastic Film Fest Film Badge. So if you want to support UT filmmakers, or if you just want to see some really cool student films, it's happening this Thursday at, I believe, 8 p.m. So at the Union Theater. Also this Thursday, AACC, the African American Culture Committee, is doing a joint social with another org at the Shirley Park Auditorium. Just A quick recap again, if you don't know, ENU is a student organization here on campus. We have 10 committees. We have theater, we have film, we have pre-cultural committees. So for any interest, if you're interested in putting on events and interested in helping out and choosing what events go on campus, all of our committees are free to join. You don't have to pay anything, and you get to like really make these decisions that are really cool and basically pitch an event and see it come to light with a massive budget. So it's really cool. It's a really cool opportunity. If you want to know more, you can just ask me or like message us on Instagram. We're at UTSG. So yeah, thank you.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Finally, we have Representative Palmer.
Howdy y'all, Representative Holloman here. This week in the Texas legislature, I think Republicans decided to go pretty wacko in filing HB, I think 2390, which would remove polling locations from college campuses. They tell I think county judges to not put any voting locations on college campuses. We're all college students. I know a lot of us probably vote on college campuses, and we know how crucial these are for students to vote, especially since students have decreased access to mobility. And also, these voting locations serve not only tons of students, but thousands of faculty and staff, and usually they're centrally located, so they really do help out the community. This bill is blatant voter suppression, not only of students, but of people in urban areas. And I believe as the official voice of students, I think we need to support students in this time of need. And I think we need to work to make sure that this bill is not passed, at least make sure that the people that wrote the bill know that UT Student Government, UT students wholeheartedly disapprove.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Representative Brownlow?
Brett Brownlow, UI. James, are you working on legislation for this body at the moment that would condemn something like this?
I'm going to, and I think you guys can expect to see it on next week's agenda. I'd love to work with anyone and everyone on this.
I'd love to work with you.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Okay, there is no one else signed up for open forum. Next slide. So we're at law for this week. In Texas, it is legal to enter an agreement of mutual combat. So if two parties agree to enter combat, that is legal. That might be good advice for some of y'all. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know actually. I'd imagine it can't, right? I would hope not. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to ask Rizul. Rizul's not here today. He's sick, unfortunately, but you'll have to ask him. He suggested this to me, so I provided it.
You replace your possible roast with possible mutual combat?
We'll get there. Jeez. Yeah, so there's your word law for the week. Next slide. So we'll now do representative reports. So for the folks here who's listening here, just providing an update of what you're doing as a representative. It's brief, it should be no longer than 2 minutes. Representative Bustillos is first. You can use microphone, you don't have to get up.
Representative Bustillos, UI. So just a quick update, for today's piece of legislation I helped author with Kevin, just hoping that y'all can actually read that legislation, and if we do go down, well, since it is on the fast track, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. In addition to that, I was working on the Eyes of Texas Education Committee before all of the, I guess, referendum things happened. But I hope to continue my work, basically on diversity, equity, and inclusion for the remainder of my term. I am unopposed, so I will be here next term. I hope to continue DEI initiatives and continue affordability initiatives and really just focus on the student body. And that will be my priority for the remainder of this term and any term.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is Representative Greenberg is not here. Next up is Representative Waltz.
Hi, I don't have a lot to say on. I've been to about 3 sessions since I was appointed. But if anybody has any interesting initiatives you're working on, glad to let it in.
All right, thank you so much. We will move forward. Ex officio reports, anyone from Senate, external appointments, agency or policy director that wishes to speak? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Office of the Dean of Students, I noticed that Dr. Gerard is here in our Zoom. Dr. Gerard, do you have anything that you wish to say?
Hey, Kevin, I have no report. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move forward again. Executive board reports. First up is the advocacy director.
Hi, everyone, I have recovered from my illness, bronchitis survivor. Our next meeting is 8 to 9 on Thursday, so come pop in if you want to. Health and safety ad hoc is starting. We're reaching out to lots of people. The interest form is due this Friday. I would love to see some reps on there. We're just gonna be talking about everything health and safety related. That has to do with UHS, Title IX, UTSG, et cetera. So please fill out the interest form and we'll get you in on something. They're bi-weekly Zoom meetings, so very low commitment. Would love to see some of you guys fill out that thing. Anyway, another ask is tomorrow, but it's not really an ask, because there's pizza. Not that we've not all had it, but tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. You don't have to come. Is the advocacy roundtable, and it's a time for students to share what they want us to be working on, and for us to listen. I'll kind of report back on that, but would love to see you guys there as well, so you can hear from students and also contribute to the conversation. Yes, tomorrow, 7 to 9 p.m. WCP, so right here. Cool. Then Invest in Texas. We were just talking about bills that impact UT students. There are a lot of them. So join the Invest in Texas Slack channel. It's #invest-in-texas. We are going to be talking about different legislation that impacts UT students and keeping track of it and going and testifying and connecting students with the opportunity to testify. So please join that channel if you are at all interested in what is going on at the Texas legislature, so that we can stay on top of that together. And then the last thing is that the new initiatives tracker is officially out, so you can follow that QR and know what we're working on in case you want to join anything.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is the communications director.
Hey guys, I'm one for this scary voice. So I'm the comms director and we have a website progress continues. Other graphics in the queue, check the calendar if you want to know. Trademark request finally approved, yay. Everything branded and toes, phone wallets, and bidding table pod. Woohoo. Reminder graphic request 7 days in advance. Also, the song of the week is Asking by Abba, and graphic request form is on my right, and then the concert calendar is on. Thanks.
That's a very good impersonation.
Oh.
Refresh, yeah. Can you refresh?
Thanks. Hi guys, hi Madison. I didn't have a lot of updates. I just came back. I'm sure I met Tamika Mallory. I sat next to her too for dinner. It was fantastic. She has a thick New York accent. She's like Sylvia's. Agency progress tracker will start this week again, so please expect that if you're on the lookout to see what the agencies are doing each week. The SG picnic, this is new, guys. I know, intrigued faces. We're having an SG picnic on South Mall, so it's just gonna be on campus. It's not gonna be in off campus. If we want to do another picnic off of campus, we can. I just wanted to have a central location as of now, so we can get used to having picnics and things. So I'm looking at the date of either March 5th or 19th. I'm probably gonna shoot for the 5th, however, that is right around the corner. The 19th is literally like, it's when you come back from spring break, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. I was aiming for a Sunday, but then again, I should probably get more feedback on what day off it was feasible. I think Sundays are days that, it's cute, Sunday-ish. I don't know if y'all wanna come on a Saturday. If you do that, it's fine, let me know. But I was aiming for a Sunday. If y'all have any other day suggestions, please let me know. Okay, I can add that as an option. Additionally, agency finance audits at LT last week. Got to see what we got to see what the agency spent most of their money on, we're able to gather information and process that and document that as well. Lastly, if you have any socials, please put it on the social calendar because I need to know, or I want everyone else to as well. That's really all. We're doing that advocacy. That's all right. Bye all.
Next up is the financial director.
Everyone, so we weren't here last week, you guys can see my better Valentine's comments on there, but on to actual important news, because we are a little bit behind on updates. So the Endeavor Fund Scholarship has been out, the link is in the Slack, I just sent it out earlier, it closes at 11 p.m. on Sunday, please share it, share everyone, just share the link, share everything. And while I'm at it, I'm just gonna bring back up, the second pancake night along with Long Form Run, we support all the initiatives that both our appropriation goes to and Long Form Run in particular to this funds. One of our endowments that goes to either appropriation and scholarship. So these are really, really important to make sure that student government can continue to support students like this financially. Besides that, in our office, for our Arts Week, our LLA sent a proposal that went to the director of the University Unions, and from what I've heard, that went pretty well. So we will get an update soon, but things are really getting some traction there. This week, so for those of you who don't know, SFBC applications are due this week. I'm finalizing SB's application. And part of that came with the agency audits to kind of see where we were at, like make sure that I was being very central and deliberate with what I was putting down. And part of that was also, since AD8 passed here in Assembly, I did talk to Kevin to make sure that anything that you guys wanted was on there. Just a general comment from me, not any threat to any student here. But no one is above the rules, and that makes my job very much harder when proper communication doesn't happen for something very important as this. So it's just my little note for anyone that wants to deal with finances. Besides that, notes about special project. Last day for applications, Friday, working great. So that's like within 2 weeks, so that's just really important to have note. But I cannot guarantee that the financial affairs committee will meet after April 5th. So please plan accordingly and reach out to Greg and myself with questions. And finally, just a small little comment, for any 19 account request that goes through me. So I did approve the funding for the Big 12 on the Hill conference, and that's kind of it. So no, you guys have any questions?
All right, thank you so much. Next up is the chief of staff.
Okay, so last week, last Thursday, we had our IOG and LT meeting. We hosted our guest speaker, Dr. Chantal Brown, and her, along with another student, presented on an inclusive campus support. We have her PowerPoint that she presented, and we're happy to share that with all of y'all are interested. Additionally, after that, we also went into our LT, which, as I have mentioned, we did a financial audit of our agencies and saw kind of like what they haven't spent yet and what their upcoming events are going to look like. And we also discussed like campus elections and the Supreme Court advisory opinion. And then we also got into transition like timeline. So that's kind of back to my second point. Our next IOGM is, and LT is going to be March 2nd, and we finally have a room, finally, after a while, and it's going to be in RLP room 01222. No, sorry, 0.112. Yeah. So if y'all are interested, please stop by. It's going to be a lot of fun. Back to room reservations, because I feel like room reservations just always looms over me. But the WRA's Amplify event, their event has been submitted, however, it has not been approved yet. So we're still waiting on that. We submitted it on Friday, and we're hoping that yesterday we're going to see some sort of approval, but we're still just kind of waiting. And then yesterday, UNT's Student Government Association came and visited us, and along with the president, vice president, who also serves as the speaker, their chief of staff and outreach director came to the office. Kevin also helped out with our meeting, so thank you, Kevin, and Saneha from Senate also came in and talked a little bit about Senate. They were very interested in Senate, which was, kind of awesome, because I guess the way it works over there, they don't have a separate
sort of student government association that like does academics. But we talked all things initiatives, collaborations, we did a breakdown of how like our student government differs from theirs, which was very enlightening and a whole lot more. So I have notes on all of that. If y'all are interested in what we talked about, you can definitely find those in my Google Drive, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is the Vice President.
Hi, everyone. So just an update from the past 2 weeks now. 2 weeks ago, we had a FG volunteer day at the Outpost. We also finalized our promotional video that we've been working on with the GOS call for the past couple months. So pending approval and hopefully that will help to increase awareness, resources, and also increases donation. The rec sports came together program and finally launched, and we will have the instructor and the exclusive space for women marginalized students tomorrow from 2 to 4. It's in Belmont 406, and the link is on there. I registered the QR code. But if you're interested, again, it's in the flag and all the other posts on social media. As Ryan said, Big Trouble on the Hill trip is coming up this Sunday. It's a 3-day conference. We met with the DDCE Student Advisory Council right before this. It's going to talk about the legislature and things that are at risk right now. Sure Walk or Sure Initiative already talked about. And then Orange and Maroon Day, Lesbian Advocacy Day, 2 weeks ago. Will and I were there, Kevin was there. Bennett was there, and we actually met a former CLI president there, which was really fun and interesting. But yeah, just some more internal things. Finally, the legislation, Good Active Agency, but the Food Security Action Team had a lot of really valuable insight on how they wanted to institutionalize their ad hoc, and really want to respect their thoughts, and they've contributed a lot to student government the past 2 years. Also met with the Campus Environmental Center today. Talked about not only community food distribution collaboration, but a sustainability justice coalition idea that they had and help with that. And then more internally, I am working on executive focus on CI, because I feel like as in government, we need that and need to be competent. So if you have any questions on that, you have my number, you have my flag, reach out to me.
All right, next up is the President.
Awesome. Hi, y'all. Firstly, finally got to have our February PSAC meeting this morning. Really exciting updates. We advanced some conversations on student employee wage fund or endowment potentially. We're hopefully going to be working with the development office, the pilot program to put more money into student wages. And then that was on the SG side, and on the Senate and GSA, and they talked about graduate student program sizes as well as advising/registration. Hopefully, a lot of really cool things coming on those fronts. Internal reform ad hoc. I noted this at the end of last week's meeting, but please RSVP. It's fun time. There's the QR code that goes to RSVP, and it's due March 10th. Our deadline, just we gotta send numbers into UHD, get the catering confirmed, but would highly recommend everyone come and celebrate the year. Additionally, this isn't on there, but another internal reform ad hoc thing similar to, as Isabel kind of mentioned, the DEI executive board position. We're also working on a GSD and MEC representative position. We've already reached out to GSD and they're supportive of it. We're gonna hopefully get a bill to y'all before sign die. Other things, submitted some names for student business empowerment. Those are at the co-op, and then similar to other transition stuff, I'm gonna reach out to all the Exec Alliance campaigns, just because we want to meet with them as soon as they know on March 6th, just so we can start officially, transitioning over, get a transition schedule out and those sorts of things. Yeah, thank you all so much.
All right, thank you so much. We'll now begin with judicial reports. So sorry, yeah. We'll begin with judicial reports. I don't think anyone here is from the judicial branch, so we'll go ahead and move forward again. Some of the board reports. First up is the rules and procedures.
It's on the slide, it's out of date, but I can talk about some stuff I'm working on lately. I recently wrote a bill along with the Senate VP, people from an accessibility ad hoc and I Senate regarding peer transit service reviews, essentially federal like classified physically disabled students, and also inside of LAC, we're currently finishing up a bill about as an action training for professors, and adding something in the syllabus to emphasize to students and professors that Title IX is also to cover gender and sexuality related issues. So, yeah, those are my quick updates. That's it. Oh, LSU does have a study abroad scholarship that closes February 24th, which is a scholarship for COLA students exclusively, but it's the study abroad in either this year is coming open for either this summer or fall, summer and fall. It's a pretty big scholarship, we can get 12,000 a semester about for study abroad funds.
All right, next up is academic affairs.
Yeah, so the Zoom thing is in front of it, but it says Britannia Pizza, everyone say thank you to Kevin for calling Domino's so many times this night. So a little shout out, that was wonderful. Campaigning season is a stressful time. Take care of yourself. The debate was last night. If you missed it, reach out to Rebecca Lyons when you are candidate, ask questions, be an informed voter. I've been without hot water for 2 weeks and the AC went out last night. No. I'm really going through it. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know what I should do. I've been told to get in contact with the legal services, tenant rights thing here at UT, so I'm gonna try to do that. I have some free time this week on Wednesday afternoon, all day Friday, reach out if you want to work on legislation together or just want to talk. That's my contact information. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is financial affairs. One from FA is here. Okay, those give me a minute. Few minutes to go back and look at that briefly. Okay, next is governmental affairs. Does the vice chair want to say anything?
Yes, as the totally official vice chair of governmental affairs, I just want to say that Brian's working hard on the transportation and parking committee. If you have any ideas for any governmental related projects or initiatives, please reach out. There's Texas legislature happening right now, City Hall happening right now, so there's tons of stuff to be mad about. Also, shout out to Kevin for
What did I do?
shout out to Kevin for being in
Can you speak in the microphone? Sorry. Right behind you, sorry.
Shout out to Kevin for being in the Texas Tribune article about the eyes of Texas. That's really big publication, big achievement, so shout out.
All right, next up is student affairs. Is it vice person? Oh. Okay, give me a minute to read that. What? Wait, someone's laughing. Am I missing something?
I'm the vice chair, but I haven't.
No, please.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't even read that. I'm sorry. All right, thank you so much. That's my apologies, my fault. So I'll keep this very brief because then we have legislation and I know it's 8:22. Please follow us on social media. These are our socials. I say this every week. So for the people who are watching this on YouTube, please. So on Wednesday? No, I'm sorry, on Monday, yesterday, we met with UNT, Ryan, or Patrick talked a lot about it, so I won't say anything about it, but we met with them. It was a great discussion. We talked about a lot of things. It was a very productive conversation. They did advocacy day at the Capitol today, so they were advocating on behalf of their university. And it was a lot of fun for that, I hope. I also am asking if anyone has any interest in conducting a news interview with Spectrum News about housing issues. I need someone to give for tomorrow. So if you have any interest in being in this interview, please reach out to me, send me a message on Slack or wherever, text me or whatever, so I can get you involved. If not, I'm gonna have to do it and I don't want to do it. I'm gonna give one of y'all the opportunity to. So please reach out to me if you want that. So EOT moving forward, just letting you all know where we are. Leland, Isabel and I have a meeting with Dr. Dean Lilly tomorrow. And they're starting to discuss these issues. I hope to keep y'all apprised of that. I hope to inform y'all about that next Tuesday. Yeah, that's second point too. We are continuing to enact the comms plan. And so right now we are working with all the committee chairs to ensure that they have filled in their assembly highlights. If you're a committee chair and you have not done that, I don't know if y'all have. You did? Okay, perfect. Oh, I haven't seen this. I don't know who has. Are we missing anyone? Okay. Okay, so if you're a committee chair and you have not done that, please go ahead and do that. But we want to promote you all so we can get to the reps next. So yeah, and then we will continue to do our weekly legislative updates. Campus-wide voting is on February 27, 28. And so as I encourage you to vote in actual elections, I also encourage you to vote in student elections. And so please vote. These are important. These are your representatives. These are people who are going to be representing you next year. Well, in a few weeks. We have 4 meetings left. After today, we have 4 meetings left of the 116th. We have 2 more, and then we break for spring break, and then we have 2 more after that. So if you have any legislation that you need to do, particularly any bills, you have to get them in next week, because if not, unless they're being fast tracked, they're not going to make it, and they could be subject to point of order. They won't be on the agenda. So make sure if you have any bills to get those in. Our final assembly meeting, like I said, is now going to be on March the 28th. That is our final meeting. It will be fun. We are going to work with the assembly board to see if we can do a roast and toast or something. Something fun, something lighthearted. We're going to have fun with it. So I'll keep you apprised of that soon. I don't know. I'm just, that's the name. So yeah. Lastly, the significance of this photo. If y'all don't know, it is marking 1 year of the war in Ukraine. It's very important. Something for me is democracy and making sure that we stand up for that. And so what happens in the other side of the world impacts us. And so just taking a moment to recognize that. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. So if you want to shout out a representative or leave any anonymous feedback, please go ahead and do so. There you go. That is the link to do that. I'll give you a brief moment. Okay. There are no general statements that can be forward. All right, we do have one piece of new business that is being fast tracked. That is AR 20 in opposition to the actions of the Office of the Dean of Students. I will, while the authors and sponsors come up and Patron present.
Sorry, I always forget that I'm not supposed to laugh. Right. Ready? Let me begin, Representative Roberts. Not speaking anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just want to say this, and I want to be very clear. I want to make sure that this is a very important topic. I don't hate BOS. I don't like doing this. I don't like being like providing on me. But my job as speaker and something I think very strongly is to preserve the institution of student government and what we do representing students. And so for me, the actions that the office has taken by blocking a student referendum that has overwhelmingly been supported by students years prior attacks the core of what we do, me. And so for me, this is the vote of conscience. And so that's it, really. I don't approve of the action that stands there. On the second part of the bill, second part of the bill, there's a statement that we need to release to student body to inform them that the referendum is canceled. That needs to be put up.
All right. We now have Q&A on the fast track. Any questions? I think, I can just reclaim the mayor the time. You're good. All right. So is there a motion? Move to approve the fast track. You have to say it into the mic.
I move to approve the motion to pass.
Is there a second? Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, the fast track is approved. We'll now move on to the. Wait, is that?
We'll just stay here. Wait, stay
You
here.
just stay here, just stay here. We will now move on to the authorship speech on the bill itself.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so just again, one preface, I have tremendous respect for emailing, tremendous respect for the officials within admin. They've been very supportive of a lot of the initiatives that we've worked on, but this, I think, is a breach of that working relationship. I think that,
based off the meeting I'm gonna have with Dean Lee tomorrow with Leland as well. I want to be productive and, supporting students. I ran on putting students first. That's what I ran on as a rep. That's what I ran on as speaker. And so, this is, I feel very strongly.
So I agree with Kevin as well. The Office of the Dean of Students does a lot with student government. Obviously, it's important that we keep a great working relationship with them. Us just opposing these actions are, that's actually reclaiming what Kevin has said, but student government is supposed to do. We're all here elected by people, specifically whether it be your colleges or your like student body. It's important that you represent the views of the student body. We do want this to pass, because I just feel that the actions that were taken last week, do not reflect what the student body wanted. Administration is supposed to support the student body. And I think, if we oppose these actions because the student body favorably wanted this referendum, but obviously they didn't.
All right, I shall reclaim the remainder of the time, which will move on to question and answer. Are there any questions? Ember? Please speak into the mic, Representative. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just concerned because on one hand, you're saying that we should keep a good relationship with them, but just wondering, do you think this is gonna alienate them further, just, opposing even more stuff they're doing? I don't know how that is.
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. It's something that I thought about too. I think that it's important that, we inform the student body where we stand, because I don't want student body to think that SG can't the referendum. I think it's very important to make it very clear that this was not our decision, that this decision came from that office. And so, important student body of that, we need to, distance ourselves from that. And this is, I think, the most appropriate.
Yes, go ahead.
So is this something like when you post about it or something, or the referendum is cancelled? I don't know, I'm sorry.
Representative Brownlow? Oh, Waltz. No, I didn't get the names mixed up.
I have a question, and it's going to be a little conspiracy brain. So, given that this referendum is to take place at the same time as student, campus-wide elections, and there would have been higher turnout, could it be possible that Dean of Students and the administration had an adverse motive to move this referendum away from a time when a lot of students would be voting so that they could discredit the referendum results? Do you care to comment?
Well, I have a meeting with Dr. Day tomorrow. I don't want to make any statements such as that. I don't want to speculate on the intentional motives or POS. I can only go by what they say and what they have told me. I can't disclose that because he's like that personal private, but I don't want to comment on that.
Representative Brownlow?
Representative Brownlow, UI. The appendix, I believe it's the second whereas, but it refers to Appendix A. I've read the statement. The only issue that I have is in the second to last sentence. It says student government is saddened by this decision and will continue to advocate for the student body to have a vote on the song. Would you say that or do you think that there might be confusion in saying a vote rather than a non-binding vote, which is what the referendum ultimately was, and
Yeah, no, that's fair. If, that's our intention is to, emphasize the deal that was already made with DOS. And so, if it is a non-binding vote, that's perfectly fine. I'm open to making an amendment to, correct that. That's good action.
Okay, can I raise a parliamentary inquiry about the rate?
1 second.
Yeah.
What was your parliamentary inquiry?
To amend the language in the appendix A, would that require a written amendment to be proposed on the floor tonight?
Yes, it would have to be a written amendment proposed on the floor, yes. Oh, Seth?
So given the fact that this came about from, somebody posting something incorrect on social media and representing the Dean of Students office falsely, just to use their words. To me, from my end, from a legal perspective, it seems that the punishment that they've chosen is pretty minor. And advocating for something that publicly, upends that relationship we've spoken about may, as Imbro said, undermine that relationship. So I guess my question is, what do you do next? If they respond publicly and decide to take a greater action, which would be perfectly within their rights, I'm curious what you would do then.
Right, no, that's fair. I want to be very clear. I'm here to represent students, not the administration. I would like to find students, not the administration. Again, I'm more than willing to work with them. I've always been willing to do so. I have several meetings with them. I hope to continue to do that. But at the end of the day, students have overwhelmingly won this referendum. I don't agree with the action that the other taken vis-a-vis this referendum.
As a follow-up question, given the fact that you have a meeting in Greenville tomorrow, do you think that it would be pertinent to delay this vote until after that meeting?
No.
Representative Ozuna? Your time has expired. Is there a motion?
I motion to send you today by 5 minutes.
Is there a second? Any opposed? Hearing none, time is extended. 5 minutes.
I just want to further explain really quickly on
Go
the
ahead.
last question. Seth, to your first, well, to your point again, also, attached is appendix A, which provides for a statement that needs to go out from the student body so that they're aware. At this time, our assembly page is not notified anyone that the referendum is canceled. Students are learning via off engagement, via Reddit, via Twitter. I think it would be very important for it to come to us as well. And so there's all that component into the bill.
As an additional follow-up, why would we need to vote on student government making a statement on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, simply saying, this decision was out of our hands, and we look forward to continued discussion with the students?
Right, yeah. Any statement that we make needs to be voted on by the assembly.
So every time you post an Instagram, it has to be voted on? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be flippant, I'm trying to.
No, that's fair, that's fair. So, no, Instagram posts are not like any formal statement that assembly is making or any student government entity, right, needs to be voted on by the assembly. If it has to be right as a whole, you need to come to us and vote on, and then we will just sign it. If we are making it via our assembly page, it needs to be coming from us. You need to.
1 second. Doesn't matter who's doing it.
We should stop the timer.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. Representative Ozuna, question.
When we like vote on this bill, I don't, we don't need for it anymore. I forget how that works, like, no longer need for it, like,
So are you asking for a quorum check?
No, I just forget it. Just, no.
So
Stupid, right, no.
Okay, I'm gonna assume you rescinded that inquiry, okay. Representative Bailey?
Bailey, just for clarification, this would condemn the actions of the new student's office, not the office of the individual response, correct?
Right, I'm not in the business of giving individual people, that doesn't do doing anyone any good, other than inflame tensions that are already existing. This merely is stating that, we do not support the action of the office delaying the referendum 45 days. And so that.
Oh. Hey,
Did you say that you guys had a meeting, with UOS tonight?
Right.
Is there a reason, because obviously, well, I presume UOS knows that we're not happy with this. Is there a reason that you think this needs to get done tonight and potentially hurt your meeting tomorrow rather than wait, see the meeting goes and then we can vote on it?
Right, no, that's a fair question. So there is a statement that still needs to go on the wall to the student body. I presume, based off that meeting, that what Pete Lilly has said in the original email that was released to y'all is going to stick. It may, I don't know if we're gonna have a set date of the referendum 45 days later, but I can't imagine the world, I see it being fired within 45 days. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna be seeing a referendum until 45 days from now.
Thanks, Ebola.
Yes.
I guess like, I'm afraid that there will be pushback, right? Just like, she's gonna be even less, well, this is gonna be even less like on the bag or hear it out the night before we, pass something, if that makes sense.
Is that a question?
That's not really a question. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I definitely understand. Thank you. No, I understand. Again, I'm not in the business of condemning people. I think like we're not fair on this. But I do want to say like the action that the office is taking vis-a-vis this, I don't think it's okay. And as student government, our job is to represent the voice of students. Students really wanted this referendum. Students are going to get to vote on it. They wanted to vote on it this campaign election. They were guaranteed that vote. The office had guaranteed it. And then they, delayed it 45 days. So. Sure.
And I guess the question in the room is why we're trying to pass a statement. I think it's important to also understand that the Dean of Students' office is not released a statement saying that the referendum was pushed back. So at this point, it's sort of lying in the hands of the student government. And it's also important to recognize that the election is next week. So we do need to act fast in providing some type of information that the student body got elected. So that is the hope that it is not.
Representative Waltz.
Do you have any confidence that Dean Lilly or Dean students would be willing to rescind? Like you have confidence you could persuade them to rescind their decision to delay it?
If I was to negotiate, yeah, I don't think so. I'm just gonna be real with you, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, I don't know what to expect. But based off the emails that I've received, I don't have a treatment that is open.
Can I have to follow up?
Yes.
Are you still negotiating, right?
Oh, the time is now expired. Is there a motion?
Motion to.
Representative Brownlow.
Motion to rescind Q&A by 1 minute, Rep. I have a motion to propose an amendment to amending resolution 20.
Have you sent it in writing?
Yes.
Okay. 1 minute, please. This is the amendment. Someone drop it on the slide too. Just accept it, I'll be real, Joe has a little bit more parliamentary experience than me, but we'll figure it out.
We accepted the.
We have to vote on it.
Yes, we accepted.
All right, we have received an amendment. I believe I'd instruct you to drop it in the Slack so other members of the assembly have it for reference before we vote on it. And then you can take this side and we can do the amendment over here. Yeah.
We can move out the way. That's okay.
No, it's fine. Excuse me, Representative, you're talking out of order. I'd like to maintain order within the assembly. Thank you.
Members, this is an amendment to the amendment resolution that changes the appendix A to read on February 13th, the Dean of Students Associate Ratings Lilly communicated to SU leaders that the non-binding referendum relating to the Isaac factors will be delayed. As such, the referendum will be postponed for at least 45 days. As for her office, student government is saddened by this decision and will continue to advocate for the student body to have a non-binding referendum on the song. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to them. Members, this amendment will simply change the appendix A to say, continue to advocate for the student body to have a vote on the song to a non-binding referendum. If you're asking why there is a need for this, I think that history has shown since we've gotten to this point after the back and forth between this body and the Dean of Students that being precise with language is a very important thing to the Dean of Students as well as the administration, and it should be to us as well. And so for the language to say a vote, I think that can be easily construed by actors who may not understand the intent of this body to mean something other than what we're trying to communicate. And my understanding is that what we're trying to communicate is that we will continue to advocate for the student body to have a non-binding referendum, as was previously agreed upon.
Are there any questions? Motion?
Walt Cola, I moved to the previous question on this amendment.
By,
By unanimous consent.
is there a second? Any opposed? Would you like to make another motion?
Move for division. Motion, I move for a hand vote on the previous question by hand vote.
Okay, we have a motion to vote on the amendment, to previous question, the amendment by a hand vote. No, it's too late now that we have to do it now. All in favor, please raise your hands.
Well, actually, for voting.
We're in the middle of voting, Representative, so I'd urge you to be silent, thank you. All in favor? That's my mouth too. You're gonna vote, no?
I can't.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just to answer that quick question, quorum is assumed. One, sorry, wait, I lost count. Hands back up, hands back up. Order in the chamber, please. I need a vote. So yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, I urge you to be silent so the assembly can focus. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Any abstentions? Seeing none. Oh. So by a vote of previous question, yeah. Yeah, previous question's been moved. I was telling her the number. 13 yeses, 1 abstention. Okay, my people on Zoom, vote quickly. Give me a moment. People, you can't just raise your hand. If you're in favor, raise your hands now on Zoom. Give me a second. Okay, so 15 yeses, 1 abstention, and 0 no's. We have now previous question, the amendment. And now, and 1 no. Sorry. Yeah, the 1 no. And now we shall vote on the amendment itself, or we need a motion for the amendment.
I make a motion, recess in 2 minutes.
By your motion is by what?
Yeah, or 45 seconds, minute, 45 seconds.
Sure.
Any opposed? Give me a second. Any opposed? Hearing none, we shall now take a 45-second recess. Make that a firm 45 seconds. Go ahead, jump it to 40. We lost 5. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They're good. Starting now. See, that's what they want to rerun. I don't want to do this job.
I love these chairs. It's way more comfortable than whatever chair I have in my room.
Oh, no, I was gonna say I love you. It's the catch. I was gonna say I love you. You're gonna be like, oh, really?
There's the camera.
Thank you, thank you.
I put in the camera. Wait, into the camera. Oh God, where is it?
Facing that way. It's just, there's one here.
Where is it?
One here. It can see it. You can't see it.
The time has elapsed.
Representative. Over. Yes. We adopted the amendment, correct? Oh, no, not yet, sorry, correction. We're voting, we moved to previous question, we are now voting on the amendment itself. Yes,
I move to approve, the amendment as accepted by hand vote.
Yes.
all right, there's a motion to approve the amendment by a hand vote. All in favor, please raise your hands, including those on Zoom.
We're voting in favor of the amendment, or in favor of amendment to the.
Amendment. Oh,
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14. We have 15 yeses. Any opposed? Zoom. Right. Any abstaining? Okay, so by a vote of 15 yes, 1 abstention, and 1 no, the amendment is approved. Representative Bailey?
Motion to approve AR 20. I moved the previous question by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any opposed?
Yeah, yeah. No, yes, but no. Yeah.
So we have now previous question of the legislation. Everyone understand that, correct? Okay, Representative Ozuna.
I motion to approve AR 20 by hand vote.
All right. There's a motion to approve AR 20 by a hand vote. All in favor of approving AR 21? Oh. All over my shoulder. All in favor of approving AR 20, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 yeses. Any opposed? Yes. 1, 2. All right, 2 no's. Any abstaining? 1, 2, 3, 4. So by a vote of 13 yeses, 2 no's, and 2 abstentions, I have it. Oh, sorry. 4 abstentions? 3, 4. Sorry, what? Not yet, we're still voting on your bill, Representative Roberts. Sorry, what was your question? Yeah, okay, if you wish to abstain, please raise your hand now. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, correction.
And
1,
Kevin.
2, 3 of y'all, right? And Kevin. Okay. So by a vote of 13 yeses, I counted the 13. Literally, like it's making me forget. By a vote of 13 yeses, 4 abstentions, and 2 no's, the resolution is approved. Thank you. Congratulations to the office responsible.
Okay. Say your inquiry.
No.
I retract that.
Okay. We're gonna move forward. Again, let's maintain a level of seriousness. This is a serious conversation, serious topic, and want to make sure we're enforcing that, please. moving forward, next up is CMHC resources and mental health. Please utilize them if you need them. They are there. I'll give everyone a brief moment for that. Okay, announcement, are there any announcements?
I have an announcement.
Sorry, I saw his name first. Financial Director.
That's not support, but because there was some interest, I thought it was around, our wonderful financial daughter is still selling Girl Scout cookies. If there's a bunch of amendments in particular, please let us know if you'd like to purchase them.
Representative Greenwald.
All right, so this has been something that I've wanted to say for a couple weeks now. And I think it's very important that it is said to the body at large. There are very few hills that I'm willing to die on, and one of those hills is don't harass other people that you disagree with simply because you disagree with them. Student government has claimed time and time again, every single week, and drags on and on and on, claiming about how it wants to be a trusted institution that democratically acts on behalf of the student body and that it serves the interests of the students at large. And everybody here pretty much has complained repetitively about a lack of dedication by members of the student government and questioned why people refuse to come. To me, it's pretty evident why people refuse to come. If you vote for something and you're then subsequently harassed on that vote because somebody disagrees with you, why would you want to come here? As we all know, 2 weeks ago, we had a referendum on the Eyes of Texas, voting whether or not to put that out to the student body, and that should have been a legitimate and reasonable debate. I put forward a reason why I would be abstaining, and to clarify, this has nothing to do with me, because I'm old. I really couldn't give less of a shit how people speak to me, but how people speak to others. Okay, I apologize. I think it's something that's important, but I apologize. I should have sworn. Instead of treating others with respect, members of student government harassed individual students for their votes and claimed anyone that disagreed with them was akin to supporting Nazis or slavery. Not only is this profoundly disrespectful, some members of student government, who will not be named, took several steps further, including harassing multiple of those members and threatening them in a manner to extort them for their votes, threatening to cancel them, telling them that they had no right to speak their mind in the way that they did. And some of those members then went on to ask certain questions during debate in order to publicly make that known, which I think was profoundly inappropriate. It's unacceptable, and as a body, I think we should all be ashamed. And that's all I really need to say. I think I really can't stress this enough. If we're going to be a democratic institution that people care about in some way, shape, or form, we can't just be a dictatorship when somebody disagrees with you. There are plenty of things that I disagree with, and I support everybody's right to make that vote. And as a student body, or as a student government, we're representing the student body, and some members of the student government believe that they were representing the student body in the way that they chose to vote. So I would implore everybody to consider that going forward.
Okay, are there any other announcements? Seeing none, next slide, please. All right, second attendance code, please go ahead and fill this out. Are there any objections to me closing the attendance code? Next slide, please. Okay, the chair recommends a motion to adjourn until next Tuesday. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are adjourned. See you next week.